Friends, Valentine's Day is here, and I am as excited as someone going on a first date. But my stand is quite different, because I am more excited about the projects I can make. All I need is my sewing machine, some fabric, some sewing supplies, and alone time. So join me once again with one of my project endeavors, the making of a simple embroidered skirt. It's Julius again, and today I will be showing you how to sew a simple but elegant circle skirt. From pattern making all the way to construction, you'll realize how easy it is to make a skirt. Circle skirts actually became famous in the 1950s, simply because they are flattering to wear and a great fun to dance on. Circle skirts are easy to make, but it teaches you a lot of skills, like how to sew a waistband, how to sew a lap zipper, or how to finish the hem of a skirt. And as usual, I will be working on my favorite Brother NV180 embroidery sewing machine. So spare some time with me and enjoy today's project, the Valentine's Circle Skirt. Drafting the circle skirt pattern is easy, and it only requires 3 key measurements: the waist circumference, the length, and the radius of the waist circumference. The radius is calculated by dividing the waist circumference by 2 pi, or 6.28. It is done by drafting a quarter of a circle for the skirt and a strip of rectangle for the waistband. The pattern will be cut on the fold of the fabric to create 1/2 of a circle, by which the skirt requires 2 to create 1 entire full circle. This skirt is great for beginners, as it teaches you a lot of skills such as drafting your own pattern, cutting the fabric, all the way to constructing it and finishing. The skirt I am working with will have embroidery finishes to give that Valentine vibe. So here is where we are at so far. I have cut out the 2 pattern pieces that I'm going to need, which is the skirt front and back, and this long rectangle bit, which is the waistband. So for the skirt, as you can see, it was actually cut into a quarter of a circle, simply because this will be cut on the fold of the fabric, and we're going to need to cut 2 of the main fabric folded. So this right here is going to be placed on the folded edge of the fabric, and basically this is going to be technically your side seams. So the fold of the pattern or the fabric does not have seam allowance over here, obviously, but the side seams will have the 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. That's the seam allowance that I'm going to use for this garment, for the skirt. And of course, on the waist part, that's 5/8 of an inch as well. And of course, the hem includes the seam allowance as well. And this other pattern piece, which is the waistband, is just a long rectangle. I opted to just use, or I just chose to have a rectangle, a straight waistband, so that it does not complicate the process. And as you can see, there is a marking here over here. So this line is actually the end of the actual waistband, but I added an inch for the overlap. And the entire waistband has a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance all around. For the waistband, we're going to cut one fabric and one from the interfacing. So another thing about the interfacing is I'm going to cut 2 strips of interfacing, fusible interfacing, about 1 inch wide, and I'm going to use that. I'm going to fuse that onto the side seams right over here. You'll see what I'm talking about later on as I go with the process. But essentially, it will help stabilize the zipper opening, and it will help me sew in the zipper very easily. So it'll be placed right over here. So I'm going to show that later on, and I believe for now I'm going to start cutting out the fabric pieces that we're going to need. I started the construction by first fusing the interfacing onto the waistband and zipper opening. The interfacing will help stabilize the fabric, especially the zipper opening. This will help me to sew in the zipper easily. Once the interfacing is fused, I then proceeded to finish the raw edges by overcasting the side seams. This is done with the help of the overcast presser foot and done before sewing the pieces together. This finish resembles a serged or overlock stitch, which will secure the raw edges and prevent it from fraying. The next step is to mark the length of the zipper on the side seams. This will be left unsewn once the pieces are put together. Then, all the pieces are pinned right sides together at the side seams. This will be sewn with a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, except for the zipper opening, which I marked in the previous step. I then pressed the seams open afterwards. To attach the zipper, with the skirt wrong side facing up, I folded and pressed about 1/2 of an inch of the zipper opening on the right side, and the full 5/8 of an inch on the left side. This creates the zipper overlap, which will then conceal the zipper from view. With the skirt right side up, I proceeded on pinning the zipper tape first on the left side beneath the folded edge. Using a zipper foot, I have sewn the zipper by edge stitching right where the folded edge and the zipper teeth meets. To sew the overlap, with the zipper closed, I pinned the other folded edge just enough to cover the edge stitching done on the other side of the zipper. Once pinned, I open up the zipper to make sure that no layers are caught when sewing. This will be top stitched in place about 1/4 inches away from the folded edge. Pivoting where the zipper opening ends and continuing sewing to secure the overlap layer, hence the term lapped zipper. To attach the waistband, I started by sewing a basting stitch about 1/2 of an inch away from the edge of the waistline. This will prevent the waistline from stretching. Since the waistline is curved, clipping the basted edge will aid in sewing the waistband easily, being careful not to cut through the stitching. Then the waistband will be folded in half, wrong side to wrong side, and pressed with an iron. The lower edge will then be folded and pressed 5/8 of an inch towards the wrong side. This will help in finishing up the waistband when sewn into place. Flip the waistband and mark about 5/8 of an inch on the left end of the waistband. To sew the waistband, I have aligned the 5/8 inch mark from the waistband with the edge of the skirt, right side to right side. The waistband is pinned first on the opening that does not have the overlap. The other end of the waistband will extend 1 5/8 of an inch from the other end with the overlap. This will be sewn into place using 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. Once sewn into place, the waistband end is folded right side to right side and sewn to close off the edge. Trimming the seam allowance will help in reducing bulk when the waistband is turned right side out. To finish the waistband from the inside, the folded edge should just sit to cover the first line of stitching by pinning from the outside. Pin all layers, making sure to catch the folded edge of the waistband from the inside of the skirt. The waistband is then sewn by stitching in the ditch, where the waistband and the skirt connects. I have stitched or sewn the entire waistband end to end. One great method in finishing circle skirts is by using horsehair braid. The horsehair braid is a type of crinoline made of nylon and resembles like a net. It's usually used as a stiffener on hems, sleeves, hats, or anything that requires extra body. The horsehair braid is sewn first from the outside of the skirt. The braid is placed on the hem edge and sewn about 1/4 of an inch away. I used an inch-wide horsehair braid by choice as I want the hem of the skirt to look subtle and narrow. Once the braid is sewn all around, it is then flipped to the inside and top stitched from the outside about 1/2 inch all around from the edge. Once done, the entire hem is pressed flat. To give the skirt a Valentine vibe, I decided to embroider a couple of embroidery designs on the hem of the skirt. Creating a buttonhole is easy with the help of the buttonhole foot. First is by marking where the buttonhole is placed from the waistband. Essentially, this will sit right on the overlap. The Brother NV180 has a one-step buttonhole, which makes buttonhole sewing easier and accurate. To use the buttonhole foot, push the little tab at the rear end of the buttonhole foot to extend it. Place the button on the space and squeeze the tab to secure the button in place. The button can be left on the tab or not at all when sewing. Attach the buttonhole foot on the machine. Select the buttonhole stitching on the machine. Lower the buttonhole lever and start sewing.